simple, elegant. But what does it mean? I think I know.
Hi, this is Andrew Sokol, International Business Consultant and Branding Strategist.
And I'm sales trainer Ike Krieger, developer of the Your Open is Your Closed sales system.
Ike and I are dedicated to making advanced sales and marketing strategies available to small and mid-sized businesses.
These are techniques formerly available only to very large companies with very large budgets.
This video is one way you can have access to the business secrets of the world's most successful companies.
So relax, enjoy, and learn from this week's 5 for 5 video tip. Andrew, our question this week comes from a subscriber named Lindsay who lives in Sioux Falls.
Hey, Sioux Falls.
Hey, Lindsay. And Lindsay recently hired a graphic artist to design a new business card for her, and when she got it back, she was looking at it, and a question came to mind for both herself and for us, and that question was, how do I know if my logo is right?
Well, non-strategic logos are a common problem for small companies and for big companies. Companies often confuse the idea of something that's pretty or clever or funny with something that's strategic. As a matter of fact, I was at a networking event just last night, and I guess being a branding and marketing consultant, it's sort of my hobby to look at business cards. So I was doing that last night, and I looked at all of these cards and I noticed that many of them had logos that were pretty or clever, but none of them were strategic.
Okay, so what makes a logo strategic?
Well, you'll remember several weeks back when we talked about the fact that a logo is really a tactic that should be an outgrowth of your brand strategy. And the whole point of a brand strategy is to differentiate you from the competition. As a matter of fact, your logo is really a graphic expression of that point of difference.
A lot of people even have that same challenge when coming up with a slogan.
Yes, they do. Good point. Slogans that are clever or funny, I see them all the time. Very rarely do I see one that's strategic.
Well, have you some examples of slogans that might be strategic?
Sure. Some favorites, as a matter of fact. Back in the days when Avis and Hertz were competing in the rent-a-car industry, and Avis was number 2 at the time, and they used that to their advantage with the classic slogan, "We're number 2, we try harder." And then there was Burger King, and their classic slogan, "Have it your way," which beautifully differentiated themselves strategically from McDonald's assembly line method of making hamburgers. And then one of my favorite slogans for the John Deere Company, to position themselves as having the most reliable equipment, their beautiful slogan, "Nothing runs like a deer."
And their logo is in strategic harmony with that slogan.
Yes, good point. And matter of fact, if you look now, you can see a variety of logos on the screen from companies you may and may not even know, but all of them communicate some point of difference between them and the competition. You'll even see the classic Nike logo there. What's beautiful about that logo is it doesn't say anything about creating better shoes. It just communicates with that swoosh, the whole spirit of athletics and sports.
So, what would you recommend to our viewers to help them begin the designing process of a logo to make it strategic?
Well, let's make this your action step for the week. You don't have to be a graphic designer or professional artist to get started on a strategic logo. What I'd like you to do is draw like a first grader this week. Yes, exactly. Get out your crayons and your pencils and your pads of paper and begin to draw, even in stick figures if you need to, a graphic that somehow communicates the difference between you and your competition. If you look at the screen, for example, here is a little running man that I drew in stick figure form for a company that is actually the fastest in their industry. This is the beginnings of the communication graphically of a logo that will represent that difference for them. Now, it's important to understand the stick figure will not be their final logo. In fact, a running man may not be their final logo.
Right.
This is just a way for you to begin graphically to express your point of difference. So here's your action step. Draw in stick figures, if necessary, a graphic that communicates your strategic difference.
Well, that is certainly one of our most artsy-craftsy action steps.
Yeah, and hopefully the most fun, so get out your finger paints this week. We'll see you next week. I'm Andrew Sokol.
And I'm Mike Krieger. Bye.